What's the deal, ladies and gentlemen? We're back with the weekly Xbox Beastfire podcast. Sorry, it was supposed to be Monday, then it was supposed to be Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. I couldn't find. Dane got fucking deported. Dealers were somewhere fucking with some underage prostitutes. T Sweaty Ball Reapers had a nasty viral penis infection. Crazy glued his balls to the chair, something. But anyway, we're back. We finally going to make it happen. We're going to make the best of what we got. Now, listen, jumping right into it. I know Crap has his show for a little while, and I don't like to schedule my shows around other people's shows. But anyway, jumping right into it. We got Red Dead Redemption, and my God. Shout out to Xbox Mad. He doesn't really partake in the trolling stuff, but he posted a couple of people comments from Sony Pro Gamers on Twitter, and they was talking about sending a letter to the government to investigate Microsoft for their shady business practices because they have Red Dead Redemption. I swear to God.
Hang on. So because it was backwards compatible, they said this?
The salt is real, man.
So the fact that you could play it, they wrote a letter to the government. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, the fact that Microsoft has backwards compatibility, has Red Dead Redemption.
Well, I mean, I didn't think backwards compatibility was important enough to affect those guys. I thought it was nothing.
Yeah, I thought it didn't matter. No one's gonna want it, right?
I didn't realize backwards compatibility was a federal offense.
That game shot up like, I don't know, was it like 7,000% on Amazon? That game.
Hey, in their defense, it only went up to the governor. All right, it didn't go federal. All right. All right.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
It shows you what a good value that Xbox One is. Honestly, I don't understand. Okay, if you don't have the money, it's a different thing. But if you're a gamer, honestly, you should have both systems, man. That way you don't miss out on anything. Best of both worlds, man.
And really, it gets even better because all of that stuff you have now, Red Dead now included, everything goes forward to Scorpio. Like, you've got all of this stuff going forward. So if you want to have the most powerful console next year and you want the best of backwards compatibility with some of the best games released this generation, you should probably get an Xbox anyway. You know,
Yep.
You're probably going to ship anyway.
And Red Dead is on the Xbox Live Store, like the sale that they have going on right now.
$7.
Yeah, I already have a hard copy of it, so I don't need to buy it digitally.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
That's true backwards compatibility, man. You have the disc. Just play it.
If it actually still works after 4 years, we'll find out.
Oh, of course it will.
Now, I was telling this other guy that I already beaten 3 times when it was really popular. So if everything transfers over, that would be actually pretty cool.
You know, I've never played that game at all.
What, Red Dead?
I never played it.
Really good game, man. I can't wait to actually capture it because I liked capturing all the citizens and then putting them on the train tracks and then watching them all blow up in like blood and guts and get them all run over.
Yeah, you know what? I can never get into it. I'm not. You know what? I'm just not a big fan of Grand Theft Auto, and it's just I don't know. I just too much. I don't like those vastly open worlded games. But I'm not knocking those that like it, but. That's just I'm not a big fan of the Red Dead Redemption or the Grand Theft Auto series.
Any of you guys plan on playing that too? Be sure and go to your 360s and save your profile on the cloud, your save date on the cloud, so it'll port over to your Xbox One. Oh, that's how you'll be able to continue. Yeah, so.
Oh, kind of like.
A lot of people
kind of like Borderlands.
Save stuff to the cloud like X1 does now on 360. It's pretty cool.
Mhm. So like I said, so I guess Red Dead Redemption is a plus. A Porter Rock.
What's up?
You're a guest on this week's show. I have a pony in here that has all the shots.
Thank you.
So we all see. We got a pony that has all the shots. Now you, my friend, you don't have an Xbox One yet, but you said you were gonna wait until what do you call it? Not Jade Empire. We call it shit.
Scalebound.
Scalebound. Okay.
Scalebound.
He's gonna wait for the. He's gonna wait for the guy in the headphones and the dragons.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to Scalebound my damn self, but he's gonna wait till next year until Scalebound. So what if you can get a really, really good deal for Xbox, about $200?
Well, that's different. If Microsoft does like a fire sale on some shit like $199,
yeah, but you can get a fucking Xbox right now, I think, for $229.
No, I'll jump on that motherfucker. The only thing I'll be pissed if they do like a Scalebound bundle. I'll be like, God damn, that shit looks sweet.
Hey, listen, I forgot my man Porter Rock Tight. He like to squeeze the quarter to the Eagle screen, man.
I'm saying.
Hey, listen, but I'm just. But they probably are going to do a bundle, maybe even a theme console.
You know what I'm saying? That should be really nice. You know, maybe get like an Xbox Elite Scalebound custom controller.
Well, they do have the Elite Xbox, the regular bundle for $350 or $340 right now.
So
you can get the Elite controller.
I'm a patient man.
You can get the Elite controller. I mean, just saying that thing was $500 just for that thing, but I was thinking about buying another one my damn self just to have another Elite controller. But anyway, something that I kind of, me and Crap kind of went back and forth with this. Maybe you guys can give me your opinion on last week or this week's BGST. I'm like I said again, I'm not knocking those that are excited about the backwards compatibility, but me, like I said again, we have gotten less old shit moments as far as new titles. To me, it's my opinion. Instead of, like I said, from both Microsoft and Sony's, even Nintendo did with that, with all these goddamn remasters, remakes, or whatever the case. Me, again, I bought a new console to experience new games and new experiences. You know what I mean? And and like I said, if you take, we've been 3 years into this generation. If you go back 3 years into the 360 and the PS3 generation, we have had more games, I guess. Newer franchises. Like, to me, we haven't got that same shit wow moment. Like, I'm still waiting. You know what I mean? Is that, going to be when the Neo gets here? Is that going to be when the Scorpio gets here? Like, I'm still waiting. How do you guys feel about it? Still, all the remasters.
What was Crap's view of that?
He's on the board. I guess he's looking forward to maybe a couple of the remasters. But like,
so he's all right. So he's all for backwards compatibility, but you're
no. Here's the thing. I'm not against backwards compatibility. I don't have an issue with. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this:
to play the new gen.
Well, that's cool. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'd rather need it and not need it. I'm sorry. I'd rather have it than not need it than not have it. I get that, but I'm just talking about as far as the remasters and the remakes. You know what I mean? The time they're spending making a remaster or remake of a certain game, they could spend that same time and giving me a new game, or part 2 to whatever said game. You know what I mean?
Well, most of the time when they do that, though, man, they license that out to another team.
Yeah,
they're working on
it's usually not the main team doing it.
Well, I'm all with next gen. Like, I didn't spend $1,000 to spend time playing my 360 games when I have a 360 on my shelf. If I just wanted
the same thing for indie games
all day long, I would do that. But no, I bought an Xbox One to play Xbox One games. I didn't play it to play 360 that was like 10 years old. I didn't need to do that.
I will say this. I agree with you guys and I agree with you, T Reaper. The problem is these remasters are selling because there's a lot of people that didn't play these games on the 360.
Yeah, because they were all in the dark and they have never touched it.
So that's just the reality. So the fact that these remasters are selling, somebody is buying them and they're enjoying them. I mean, I think recently is BioShock remaster.
Yeah, that's supposed to come out pretty soon.
That shit was on my Twitter feed for like the whole day. I'm like, oh shit.
But does that speak to and value to the lack of next generation experience that we've got?
I think what it does, because last gen with PS3 and 360 there was a lot of games, and I think people are still trying to catch up to the massive those two consoles brought out. So
here's the deal. Here's the deal, though, guys. Like, seriously, if you think about it, these developers know that these consoles and these libraries from now on are not going anywhere. So if they bring BioShock to this generation, they never have to do it again, and they can just sell this game for 10, 20 years. Because Xbox is a platform, right? Now, I mean, you own everything now forever. It's all backwards and forwards compatible. So that's why you're seeing a lot of this, because these guys have known this for, I'm thinking, years. They knew that, we're going to port it one more time. Might as well have the original Dishonored on this console because we're going to have Dishonored 2.
I started playing that, actually.
Years. Yeah, it's a long-term thing, I think. In BioShock, things like that, everyone's got their remaster, right? We'd all like certain things to be redone. What was that next gen? I asked you one time, you're like, man, fuck that. And then you instantly thought of something. You're like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I went back at least to the OG Xbox. Like, I spent
what game
8-9 years in last generation. You know what I mean? So I'm just not looking anything that came out last generation. that I wanted to play, I've already played. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I
think the number one game that I'm looking forward to see as a remaster is that Call of Duty 4 this year. I played that when my little brother was like 7 years old. Like that was like the number one game my brother was really good at when it came to Call of Duty. So I'm looking forward to actually touching that game again and seeing it with all like the new graphics, the new the outlook of what it looks like and how it plays. I'm
how
looking
about
forward
this?
to seeing that.
Let me ask you a question. Would you rather play? You said Call of Duty, right? Whatever remastered. Would you rather just? You wouldn't rather have a Call of Duty 4 Part 2 with some true next generation graphics, or playing something that you already played before with a fresh color paint on it?
Well, if Activision or Infinity Ward ever want to get their balls out of their ass and make something decent, then I'm all for it. But they're not. They're too focused on that Battlestar Galactica. I'd rather play something new if that's the.
Okay, but here's the thing. Like I said, developers again, they don't have an incentive to do so. If
what do you mean they don't have an incentive? They have so many fans asking them to do so.
I'm just saying to make when you say take their balls out of their ass. Because no matter what they put out, whatever they put out, whether it remaster, whatever, we're gonna go out and we're gonna buy it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, it comes like I'm just looking at generations, like even from whatever. When the Super Nintendo came out, that was it for the NES, right? When the Nintendo 64 came out, that was it for the Super Nintendo. Yeah. When the GameCube came out, that was it for the Nintendo 64.
Shit, that was it for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Well, you Call of Duty do have some built that comes with something old. So you have that Call of Duty
Somebody get that motherfucker round of applause.
That future it comes with that new Call of Duty and then it comes with the remaster. So you get both. You get something new and you get something old, and I think that's a good combo.
I'm just saying that this generation right here, just being honest, if you go back, if we would have hopped in a hot tub time machine, and I got one more other fucking Jerry Crow. When you look at this is the 8th generation we're in, right? This is the 8th gen, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the 8th generation. Yeah.
When you go back and look at the 8th gen, is it going to be muddled? So you know what? That was the remasters and the remakes. You know what I mean? What I mean, just look at, and I'm not one to be so picky and so anal about things, but if you look at the type of games we got last generation compared to this generation, we got Assassin's Creed was new for that generation. Even we had the reemergence of Call of Duty, regardless. You know what I mean? Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, Gears of War, the Uncharted series,
Batman.
Batman. I can keep going on and on. The
Mass Effect.
They finally had the technology to actually get some.
We have not gotten that this generation.
I would say, I'm right on point with that. One of my biggest beefs is fucking Rockstar. We're already about year 3, and we still have yet to have one legit Rockstar game. When normally, in the gen, you already have like 3 or 4, or at least 2 by now. We don't even have 1 yet. There's no Grand Theft Auto 6 yet. We don't have a new Red Dead Redemption or something. It's just, when are these guys going to come out with a game? Like, what the fuck?
Well, I know they're actually working on one or the other.
They're selling fucking GT5 for the last 4 years and shit.
But it's still in the top 10.
It's still making money, though. It's still making money.
Buying the fucking game already.
It's still making money. If it still makes money, they're going to keep selling it.
Like, fuck, man.
Well, I mean, they've been working on it. It's just taking a while, I mean, look at the last game. They normally have quality products.
I mean, they're either working on a new GTA or they're working on a new Red Dead. They're working on one of those.
They had Grand Theft Auto 4, the 2 DLCs, Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto 5, LA Noire.
Well, yeah.
Well, GTA 5 has more DLCs than you can count.
Though Rockstar just published that game. They didn't technically have one of their teams working on it.
Did they do Bully too?
Bully was early 360 game.
Well, that was a PS2 though.
Yeah, I think it was a cross-gen game.
Yeah, it was a cross-gen. In fact,
I mean, really, they didn't put out all that much last generation, if you think about it.
I don't know. I think a lot of the, next gen was saying he's not wowed. I think a lot of the engines that they were using, I think they were, maxed out. And with DX12 and, Vulkan and, OpenGL coming into effect, I think we're going to start getting really wowed now. Because some of the newer games, they are quite impressive. Battlefield looks amazing, man.
And I would say things will get easier for developers because last gen was a mess. I mean, Sony with that Soul processor was a fucking disaster.
Yeah, that held it back.
Very hard for cross development and stuff.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Would you guys suffer from stage fright just now from the screen?
No,
I went
we
to
were
pour something to
talking.
drink. You guys just shut the hell up.
No, we was talking.
We were talking.
All right.
We were
I'm
talking.
sorry. Fill me
But
in.
I'm saying,
sorry.
I
What
would say
happened to Red Bull?
developing's easy because even though like when developers, Microsoft got UWP, Sony uses OpenGL, but those are very two easy tool sets to use. And the fact that they all unify with AMD, everything's just easier for the developers now.
Well, I personally think the higher technology is available to you, the better games you can make.
Oh yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
They could literally go back if you had that 6T flop Scorpio right now and you saw a remaster, that you would be more compelled to play it, whether or not you played it before, because you'd be blown away by the visuals. And that's what Next Gen keeps saying. He hasn't been blown away. 98% of that is because you haven't, you kind of in a stepping stone generation where you didn't really take that giant leap. We've already talked about this.
The hardware,
but just imagine if it was 6T flops, 3 years ago, you'd be like, wow, like you wouldn't be complaining about that kind of stuff at all.
I've been wowed a few times. I was wowed with Rise.
Yeah.
I was wowed with Infamous.
If you guys had to look back on this generation, what game so far would you think defined this? Even though we know that there's no game, like if you had to pick one that's already come out, which one would you press?
Probably
Witcher
GTA.
3, Fallout 4 for me.
Well, in terms of graphics?
In terms of like a game that wowed you this generation, like the 8th generation, not on 360, like this generation. Like I wouldn't count GTA because that was on 360. I'm talking about on Xbox One. I'm talking about Xbox One game. PS4 or Xbox One games, I don't care.
We said that a game. You say pick a game that wowed me this generation.
Like graphically?
No, like something that stuck out to you, like that. If you had to define this generation, not by remasters and not by backwards compatibility, like one game that you played either on PS4 or Xbox One that said, yes, this belongs on this console. Yes, this belongs to this generation.
Well, I will pick a multiplayer. I like it. To me, I like the Star Wars Battlefront. That was like a dope shit to me. You know what I mean? Looked beautiful. As far as the Xbox, maybe Forza Horizon 2. And I'm not really big into
that was amazing. Amazing.
I'm not really big into making.
No, the games that define this generation, critically at least, are The Witcher 3 and Fallout 4. I mean, those are two massive games.
Okay.
I think Witcher 3.
People do not talk enough about. I know a lot of you guys probably never played them or don't like them or something, but they are.
I played Witcher
3. I already beat Witcher 3
high quality
with
games
DLCs.
gave you a lot of free content, a lot of content for the dollar. That's the kind of stuff. They weren't pinching pennies. It was just good quality content and huge games.
I don't know. Graphically on the Xbox for me, it's been Rise. Rise wowed me. That was like amazing looking.
Yeah, Rise was an old shit moment and launch too.
And a game that doesn't get enough credit. A game that doesn't get enough credit. NBA, man. NBA 2K16 is real life, bro. That game's so fucking amazing, man.
And you know what? I would say that also. Like when we saw the quote unquote the NBA 2K franchise on the next generation engine. What was it, 14 when it first came out or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, oh shit! Like that's next gen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what? I gotta give credit. That was an old shit moment. Like oh shit! You know, nobody like basketball.
Yeah. You're really
kind
kind of like it's kind of speckled in terms of like how many games have actually done that. Like Rise, 2K. I remember seeing 2K for the first time. There's only a few games that have just been like, wow. That could not have been done on 360 in any way. Assassin's Creed Unity. I don't know. They're far and few between.
Yeah, I say Rise. I'm even gonna give the pony some. I'd say Uncharted 4 looks pretty amazing, and Infamous Second Son. The lighting in that game was pretty crazy.
What impressed me about Infamous was the stability. Compared, like if you play the first two, it would get choppy frame rates because there was too much shit going on.
Yeah.
Fucking Infamous Second Son, that shit was smooth.
You know what though? I forgot about really Sunset Overdrive was nice for me too. Sunset Overdrive, and I did like it because I did enjoy Quantum Break also. Quantum Break was to me that good graphically. Maybe there was a lot of shit going on in the screen. It was I guess a technical marvel, all this shit, the particle effects that was going on in the screen, but it wasn't that sharp graphically. You know what I mean? Because I guess they was pushing so much, of the physics and stuff. But I did enjoy Sunset Overdrive too. But,
and you can't forget about Forza Motorsport 5 when we all first saw that. Like it's not really super noteworthy now, but when you first saw Forza 5, it was like, wow, you can see the reflection of the dash in the windshield. That kind of stuff is pretty cool.
The most realistic game, though, if I had to say, it's got to be Battlefront, though.
Star Wars Battlefront?
Yeah, that game, like,
it's a nice looking game.
It's so realistic looking, and I've played it on other platforms and like at 4K
resolution. It looks very similar on Xbox.
Yeah. Actually, it scales good. It's just at a lower res, but it looks the same. It doesn't look any different. But the graphics in that, like the mountains, the lighting, when the sun hits your face, the stormtroopers, the sound effects. It's like holy shit! It's like I'm playing a movie.
That's a good part of Battlefield 1 is they say they're basically using the same exact engine, and Battlefront ran very well on all platforms. It's not super demanding and it looks great, and they're saying we'll get the same thing from Battlefield 1 on Xbox One and PS4 as well. 60 frames, supposed to look pretty good.
And Order 1886 looked good too, but
that was nice.
That game.
It was kind of linear, but it was a good looking game. I will give you that.
I did not like that game at all. I'm like, fuck.
It was. I don't know. It was it wasn't that fun. It was a nice looking game. It was. I liked the story. I give it. To me, it was like Rise. It was a technical, a nice looking, some eye candy. The story was well, but the gameplay a little bit, to me, was just missing something. But with something me and Tim talked about, a big misconception. I don't know if it's from the haters or from who. They say there's no reason to get Scorpio because it's not going to make your existing Xbox One games run at a higher whatever. But you're buying the Scorpio for future games. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with the quote-unquote the PS4.
Yeah, and that's never been confirmed. What that was is somebody basically mentioned multiplayer games running at the same frame rate or something. That doesn't mean that they'll look the same.
But even if it did, though, it's something that was coded or made for the. But unless they go in and patch it, I can understand it. You're talking about something.
I mean, like Rob Ferguson, he already said they have a Gears 4 patch ready.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, Gears of War, that's made with some of the Scorpio tech in mind. But like I told Tim, I said if we're able to play Forza Horizon 3 on Windows 10, right? Let's say you buy Forza Horizon 3 on Windows 10, right? You buy the code digitally. You can either enjoy it on your console or you can enjoy it on your 4K Windows 10 machine, right? If you have a 4K capable PC, Windows 10, you will be able to play Forza Horizon in 4K resolution with all the textures and stuff. And I don't see what's the difference if you have the Xbox Scorpio. If you have the game digitally on your in your whatever, and you have the Scorpio, why wouldn't it be able to scale to the Scorpio specs if it was scaled to my PC specs? Like to me, that's just common. Even though they haven't come out and officially announced that,
it's just a patch.
It's common sense to me.
It's just a patch that they have to apply, right? So if they don't apply the patch, then some games that were because they're saying they don't want to change the frame rate that it was intended at. So games that were set at 30 frames per second are going to stay there unless the dev goes in and says, no, do it up to 60, right? But those games, if they were struggling around 24, 26, 27, they're going to be a stable 30 frames per second for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the frame rate lock was for multiplayer, like competitive multiplayer. So I'd imagine The Witcher 3, Fallout 4, all that stuff, your single player games, they could patch that easily to do 60 across the board, no problem.
Well, even if that, listen, like I would like look. We look at something we talked about. You look at the sales of Red Dead Redemption, how those things are now flying off the shelf, right? Even if they go back to some older Xbox One games, so they put in a patch for Rise, Son of Rome. You better get some 4K textures and a lot of people will probably go back and buy that game just to see Rise, Son of Rome on their console in 4K resolution. For sure.
A lot of people will be coming over that never played it too, and like, wow, I want to see this.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, I guess like I said, today is a win-win for.
I can see them trying that on the more popular games to test it out first.
You can guarantee all.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
I don't think they're gonna do it on every game because sometimes the juice may not be worth the squeeze. They'll probably start out with a couple, and then like if they notice that the improved graphics it leads to better sales, or then they'll just keep pushing it.
And on the back end, all they have to do is like put a switch in there or like I can't think of the word right now, like a signal, like a detector that says, okay, this person's playing it on the Scorpio, and they're playing this game at 60 frames per second. So we're not going to put them in with the 30 frames per second in multiplayer, and it kind of like pulls you over there, And if you want to go with 30 frames per second, and you have some type of option where you can toggle it, I think more options is better. Put the option there.
I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll just lock it so that way the whole community stays the same. Because you could potentially fragment the community at that point.
Yeah, but you can't lock it because if you mean lock it at the original.
And multiplayer, for the multiplayer, yeah, they'll lock it at the lowest level.
And then again, people have been running variable frame rates on PC for decades. It's not that big a deal. Honestly.
And you should know this anyways, like on the PC with the money you paid for the hardware.
I'll say maybe for the PC gamer, but for the console gamer, most console gamers complain a lot.
Yeah, but this is where we're going, man. You can't expect the same results out of the vanilla Xbox One out of the Xbox Scorpio, man. So like if you want that, stop bitching. Go up and get the next console. Get the next step.
I don't think it's that easy.
No, it is going to be that easy. It's only for me to buy that console if you're going to get my fucking version of the game.
So if you want the new version of the game, then get your ass out of your freaking house and go buy it.
Gamers are impulsive. They want the best graphic fidelity, period, right? So most gamers will upgrade. They'll jump up.
I understand what you're saying, but that's not... Console gamers are whiny. If console gamers feel they're being rejected, they're like,
what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Listen, a Porter Rock, it's rather be pissed off than pissed on. Fuck them complaining. They have their money already. So what the fuck? Well, you complaining doesn't give a fuck. Like I've been telling these motherfuckers, well, they're gonna fragment shit. If you're gonna buy it, we're gonna stop playing games. Listen, if Microsoft wants the Scorpio to fucking sell, they can't gimp it. You know what I mean? If you're gonna gimp my fucking version of this console, there's no need for me to buy it. I want to go balls to the fucking wall. You know what I mean? Beautiful cars, nice looking bitches, and give me a fucking iced tea. If I'm not going to get that, then there's no need for me to buy the fucking console. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck about people complaining. Now everyone that has a fighter, fighters have fight sticks. No one fucking plays fights have steering wheels.
And when it comes to frame rate too, guys, to think about it, most of the games this generation, the bigger ones like Battlefield, Gears of War, all those have already been 60 frames. So there's no frame rate gimping on a lot of those competitive titles. Star Wars Battlefront, all that.
Mm-hmm. What about the Master Chief Collection when they took Halo 1 through 3 and put it all to 60 frames?
Well, they already confirmed that if any game is dynamically scaling, that it'll scale up to the highest level that it's set dynamically in.
Yeah, you won't see any drops. Next, Jim, what was this thing you were talking about? Trade-in program thing, incentive, whatever?
Oh, talking about for the Scorpio?
Yeah, let's get into that.
I just did a video. He was shameless plug. Check out the video. I'll leave a link down below. But they were saying that, hold up. Let me go to the video. But anyway, they were saying, it was an article here that...
From...
hold on, what the hell is the article? But basically they were saying that they're going to work with their partners or whoever to, for people that may have bought the... Here you go right here. It says Microsoft working on the Xbox Scorpio trade-in plans for the Xbox One players. I said after the announcement of Project Scorpio, many users claim that their current Xbox One model will lose value, and going further, that the Xbox One S would not have any sense, would make any sense basically to buy it once the Xbox Scorpio come out. And this is not what Microsoft thinks. He said now the Redmond company is working in order to make trading possible and a true opportunity for people to save money if they really want to get their hands on a new hardware upgrade. So, of course, you can go into GameStop and trade in and whatever, and they give you, but they were saying they're going to basically work on it. Maybe you can get more bang for your bucks if you choose to upgrade. You can, you know what I mean? You'll see the thing. So
basically, they can work with GameStop to give you a better price.
GameStop, Best Buy. You know what I mean? Making it big enough, so maybe throwing a free game, whatever they're going to do. They didn't go into details, but I think that's dope. You know what I mean? But in the end, I think that about something that I've always said, going forward, and even with Sony's, is going forward, I think that we're going to get out of what we call the terms of generations. You know what I mean? I don't think there's going to. I just think every 3 to 4 years we're going to get new hardware. Implications. I mean, they make games run better and look better. You know what I mean? Just going forward. Unless some new tech that comes out that's not x86 or something.
Yeah. Here's something else we need to tackle, too, because I keep getting these comments. People thinking that Scorpio is a whole new generation of console. No. When it's been confirmed over and over by Phil Spencer to be just another Xbox One, just more powerful. Just like the Neo, another PS4, just more powerful. Except for this time, Microsoft came out on top. So it's not another whole new generation. Stop saying PS5 is going to come out and catch it or whatever. It's just not going to happen. They're just iterative upgrades that are quite iterative over and over. They're pretty phenomenal upgrades. It is what it is. Get over it.
And the Scorpio is the high end, S is the middle, and then regular Xbox is the low.
I think at this point, it's no longer consoles, it's just platform. It's Xbox, it's PlayStation.
Yeah.
And every so often, you just get a better version. The best way people have to see it is iPhone and Android. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just on the equal. That's it. Nothing
somebody
more.
that has an S4 and they see my S7, you can't cry. It's like, oh, why my S4 not like your S7? Because it's newer, it's better. Go get a new one, dude.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, man. And I like how they're going up these phases. So there's different tiers. So you got the low, you got the mid, you got the low, you got the mid, you got the high end. There's an option for everybody.
Well, you think Microsoft's still gonna make the Xbox vanilla, or is that?
I think
that's gonna be the introduction. The DS is gonna be the introduction.
That's why
vanilla's
gonna
get phased out.
Because that was a
that's not how
strategy.
Sony does it. If Sony introduces the PS4 Slim, the PS4 vanilla is done. That shit gets phased out.
I think
the Slim is cheaper to manufacture.
Well, they have to do that because AMD they switched to a smaller nanometers, right, for their boards. So it's too expensive to keep producing it.
Keep the old one, so they just get rid of it. So
there's gonna be a fire sale. You're gonna see it for like $199.
X1 when the Scorpio came out. I thought that's what you're talking about. I was like, yeah, I'll keep the base one.
No,
the
vanilla.
New Slim, is going to replace the old big box, and that was a long-term thing. A lot of people are like, why did they even do that? And it's like, well, they're still planning on selling this new Slim for the next 10 years. And it's a long-term thing.
That's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing people understand. Some people's like, why are we releasing a Slim, or why are both companies releasing a Slim if they're releasing a Neo and a Scorpio? The whole reason.
Long-term.
The whole long-term. These Slim models are cheaper to manufacture than the vanilla model. So it's just by default. And if you want to pay $249 for a console, that's the way to do it.
And Sony's pushing the Slim. Well, I guess once it gets confirmed, they'll be pushing the Slim to sell their 4K HDR TVs, right?
Yeah.
So not those. A lot of people out there that have HDR TVs, they're forced to get the Samsung Player, which is $100 more than the Xbox One S, right? So for $299, you're getting a console. You're getting a 4K Blu-ray player, you're getting the streaming 4K HDR apps, and you're getting, of course, HDR for Blu-ray playback for $100 cheaper than the Samsung one. Who's not going to buy that? Seriously.
You know what? At the end of the day, I just think that that the Slims from both Sony and Microsoft is going to phase out the OG models.
They are.
That's it.
It's just pretty much it.
And there's nothing wrong with it. It's not like you have to buy specific software before each console.
It's the exact same thing that happened with the 360 when the S launched there. You didn't see the big fat ones on sale for much longer.
Same thing with the PS3 Slim.
They flushed them out. They're gone. They gave you a free game, make it more enticing. A bit less sexy of a product, but more enticing because you get a free game or something. Take it. There you go.
And we need to go forward for myself and next gen to be wowed, because last generation lasted way too long. 10 years, that's ridiculous, man. And this generation started off.
It really hurt the industry. Like, that's unhealthy to be stuck in a static box for 8 or 9 years. Like, it's unhealthy for the industry. And there's one thing I got to give Showstopper props on. He'd been seeing the vision way before I seen the vision, and this, I'm like, because I was thinking as a console gamer. But he said for gaming to go forward, PC gaming has to move forward. This is being real, it's fact. So this is about when the 360 and the PS3 came out, and just at those times, they had the top of the line spec as far as that were ahead of PC. But that 8 or 9 years that they waited, that consoles probably would never catch PCs again. This is the only way, quote unquote, for us. I guess for gaming, they can keep pushing the envelope. And console gamers not be fucking left behind. So every 3 years you get a upgrade or slightly more powerful. Yeah. So look what AMD are doing with these affordable cards for $200. So
you're right. There's no catching PC.
Yeah, but that's
PC
all,
doesn't
that's
have
all
a ceiling.
due to the efforts of AMD and Nvidia. Because you couldn't implement this plan with the components we had 3-4 years ago. Just to get a top of the line card, you're dropping $500-600 bills.
Yeah.
Now you could get a powerful card and it's
$200.
And that's what consumer pays. Sony and Microsoft don't pay those prices.
No, yeah.
I think about it. these consoles.
The technology is what's pushing this capability. So I'm pretty sure NVIDIA, AMD talked to Sony and Microsoft years ago saying, this is what we're doing, this is what we're able to get you at a cheaper price. And now they're like, okay, so we could go ahead with these plans of, every 2-3 year upgradable consoles. We just have to make sure we can support it with the right platform to ensure games are playable across every platform available.
And guess what? Yeah, sorry, not to cut you off, but
all these people crying, saying, "Oh, it's too early to upgrade. Oh, I'm not ready. I just got my PS4." First of all, Xbox One launched with 1.3 teraflops. PS4 with not much more at 1.83 teraflops. That is so weak. You know that you have laptops coming out this year that have like 5 teraflops in it, 4 teraflops in it, 3 teraflops in it, that outperform the consoles. It was necessary. It was definitely necessary.
But even like I said, though, like Porter Rock, I'm still your idea here. He said something, dynamic last week. Was it last Sunday or something? We got together. He said that in this way, in this business, we no longer have to wait to get our hands on a Gears of War, Halo, or God of War. Usually, when these next consoles come out, you got to wait 2-3 years until we get a Halo before we get Gears. They wait until the install base builds up. But now the install base is already here because they're going from that 20 million whatever Microsoft sold and that 40 million whatever Sony sold, and and it's just just making the game because they already have a huge install base, whether they're on their Neo or their Vanilla. So
they're never losing their install base again.
No, everybody's not starting over. So Ubisoft will push out the killer IP day one on Scorpio's launch because it's going to sell on Xbox One S. It's going to sell on.
And that's
PS4,
great for gaming. That's great for consoles. That's great for
the
gamers. That's, there's no lose there. So
there's no planning. There's no strategic planning. Okay, we're going to wait to release this killer IP when they hit 20 million. No, just launch that bitch. Just start pumping out games. Get that cycle going.
We don't have to wait anymore.
Don't stop development. Just keep it moving.
Right. So what else we got on the list? We talked about Gamescom. Did we tackle Gamescom?
No, we haven't done that yet.
Okay, so Gamescom. I did a video in the wee hours in the morning. It was on M4G and a couple of the sites that Sony is not attending Gamescom. So, and again, I didn't slam Sony in the video. I just basically said that they were giving the middle finger into their because Sony has a huge presence in Europe, so giving the middle finger to their gamers there. And people that are down playing fucking Gamescom and say, well, they got the Paris. That's no fucking Gamescom. Tokyo Game Show was no fucking Gamescom. You know what I mean? Like, just be fucking.
Yeah, Gamescom's the biggest event in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, E3 is the biggest in North America, but
Gamescom is for the whole of Europe. Like, that's huge. And
because Sony didn't appear on last year's Gamescom, and then the next thing you saw was in the wintertime on that big, frickin' Japan stage. That's the next thing you saw after
Well, they did some Paris shit. I don't even know what the fuck they showed at the Paris.
Yeah, but that shit was boring as hell. That's pointless.
Yeah, I know. But again, so one of those, I'm not gonna be giving this guy a fucking shout out, but one of those sites inboxed me on Twitter, right, and was like, first you should do some more research before you release your videos and something. So they sent me a link that today Sony checked off the box that they are attending fucking Gamescom, which I said is cool. I said they're attending, so he gave me a long list of all these companies that are attending Gamescom. I said, cool, but are they having a fucking press conference? I don't give a fuck about them. It's even Nintendo of Europe on the goddamn list, but are they having a press conference? The motherfucker hasn't hit me back yet. You know what I mean? So I don't care about Sony going there. I want them to have a press conference. Like I said before, I think both Microsoft and Sony are at their best when they're on that big stage duking it out with each other. You know what I mean?
Dude, I guarantee you, they're focused on hiring a writing team to spin how Neo is weaker than Scorpio and how it's
man. Start your shit. We got a pony on the panel. Come on.
You already know. I'm going to just say this.
By the interview that guy did, and he tried laughing it off and said it was more about narrative in games than anything now, which is not what they were saying 6 months ago.
Porter Rock, what are your thoughts on that? Is it about the games? What's going to talk to me?
Okay, it's all about the games, though, man.
Oh, of course.
Listen, I'll say this. The whole games, that's our playbook. I think I talked about it with Zaire from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? This is the first generation Sony had from start to finish a more powerful console we ever had. So, like some Sony guys, they're living it up because we never had that. PlayStation 1 was weaker than 64. PlayStation 2 was the weakest.
Yeah, Sony guys are, but Sony is as well.
See,
When they
you know what I'm
lied
saying?
about
So,
Killzone, when they
yeah.
lied about Watch Dogs,
So,
I mean, Sony are living it up too.
You know, everybody embellishes a little bit here and there. You know.
I guess
so,
a little bit.
You know? But at the end of the day, you gotta look at it. We never had
12 inches.
We never had the best version of multi-plats, especially last gen with the PS3. You know, Fallout 3 was the worst version. Bayonetta.
I mean, you guys had the worst version of everything.
It was just, you know, it was normal. So us having the worst multi-plats was status quo for us. It was.
You couldn't even get DLC because devs couldn't code for that.
Yeah, so we created the Games playbook. If we couldn't beat you in power, we beat you in attrition with just massive amounts of AAAs and stuff. So that's our playbook. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go back to that playbook. We got that playbook ready. About to fuck that bitch open. You know
I guess.
We got that Spider-Man coming. We got that
Spider-Man.
Well, I got a question. I got a question
for you guys. 2018 is happening.
No, seriously. I got a question for Porter Rock. Okay, you said it's all about the games, but where's your games in 2016?
Bro, are you serious?
Your last
only had Quantum Break all year long.
No, where's your full lineup, man? Where's your full lineup? Where's your full lineup, man? Where's your full lineup?
What?
Where's your fall lineup besides Last Guardian?
Okay, full lineup: Last Guardian, GT Sport, and No Man's Sky. That's 3.
So you're gonna count an indie as a release that has no Sky, right?
Hey, so Cuphead sucks now? I'm just saying, you guys are excited about Cuphead.
Hey, T-Street Balls Reaper, man. Porter Rock sharp, and he's sharp. Don't put him. He's dangerous. Don't back him into a corner, man.
We can turn this into Xbox versus Pony real quick.
Nah, I think it would be pretty easy to win this argument.
Why would you
compare
ask
those?
if where our games for 2016? We got Uncharted, we got Street Fighter, we got Ratchet, we got MLB. You guys got one game from the last 7 months.
You might got us.
And I'm not saying it's a bad game. It could be a great game, but it's still only one.
He might got us
7 months.
You might get us on that.
You guys were bragging about holiday season games in April. I'm like, bitch, it's not even summer. Can we at least go to the beach and blow up some fireworks?
Yeah, yo, I love Porter Rock, yo. He's funny as fuck.
No, I will say though that
MLB is on the PS3, right? And it's a baseball game. Good job.
So hey, it's American's apple pie. I love baseball.
Ratchet, which is a game for 5-year-olds, in my opinion, just mine.
Okay.
What do you have? Uncharted's your only game for me this whole year. Street Fighter was an undercooked turd if I've ever seen one. Don't even count that.
Listen, if it's not for you, it's fine. But do you think I want to buy an Xbox to pay $40 to be a character that sticks balls?
No, I'm just telling you that this year, you can't compare the lineup this year between Xbox and PlayStation.
What does Xbox? What does Microsoft have this year? Come in.
Gears of War 4 alone.
All right, Gears of War 4.
Forza 3.
Forza Horizon.
We've got 4 AAAs releasing here just in a month or two, all the way through the rest of the year.
What else we got?
Recore, and then you've got
okay.
What's the
$40 single A game? Okay, go ahead.
Cuphead.
No, Cuphead. Don't even count that. That's like
no. I gotta disagree with you guys here. I've played Cuphead. Trust me, this game is gonna sell like the game is sick. The graphics are amazing. The gameplay is amazing. When that game comes out, trust me, a lot of people are gonna buy it, man.
Are you sure?
I'm positive on that.
No, you might want to look at Quantum Break. Quantum Break might say hi.
You know what happened with Quantum Break at the last minute? It got
saying that they had to immediately go on to the next project just to pay some bills.
No, Quantum Break. What happened? The media killed Quantum Break at the last minute with that 720p analysis. That deflated all the hype and that took all the steam out of that game. That's what happened.
And that's not gonna be an issue anymore. Next year.
You know what? I will say this going for the narrative. I will say this though, all jokes aside, that I think that the media and even the gamers' perception of Microsoft is finally turning the corner. It's finally changing. You know what I mean? Now we don't hear nothing about the resolution anymore. That's been the thorn in Microsoft's side this whole goddamn generation about the fucking resolution. And I've got teased about this, but I don't give a fuck. My dick's bigger than you guys. But, you know, when I see the Xbox One fans, I'm just being real. When Xbox One went on, it's been hard being an Xbox gamer this generation. We didn't get the chance to enjoy our exclusives. the betas, you know, shit. The betas in 720p. It's been so much shit about resolution. Now, honestly, I haven't really heard any more about resolution. You know what I mean? I really haven't. I don't know if that narrative's going away now because either the Sony fans or the media are backing away from that because they know that if you're still going to talk this shit, the Scorpio, it's going to be a native 4K, whether it's 30 frames or 60 frames.
No, I don't think they're backing now. I guarantee.
But anyway, when we talk about AAA lineup this year, you just can't compare them. You just can't.
Why you can't compare?
Sorry, and especially if you're going to bring like No Man's Sky.
The best rated game right now. We already have it.
Game.
No Man's Sky is the best rated game now. What happened?
Correct.
What?
No Man's Sky is $60 indie game.
Yeah, I think it's $60. Yeah.
It is. All right, I guarantee you won't do as well as Inside at $20.
Probably not. I don't know.
No,
I mean, I'm not interested in
critically.
I'm not interested in No Man's Sky.
We'll see. We'll see what's up.
And
are you buying No Man's Sky?
Who's really waiting and counting the days for The Last Guardian?
Who?
And you were saying that Recore was a single A. That looks like something some of you Sony dudes would be into. What you talking about? You talking about diversity?
Could be. You know, could be. I don't know.
All truths aside, though, you know, Porter Rock might be right because you know.
It is. I am.
Yeah, you might be right. Only you might be right. Porter Rock might be right because if he counts his PlayStation VR, your VR games is over 50 by the end of the year. But if you want to count your VR games instead of AAA, then go right ahead.
Oh shit, you guys are crazy.
Robots play VR games over AAA?
Nah, I think you just opened up a can of worms there.
Then go right ahead. Then you're right, Porter Rock.
Okay.
But
I already played AAA.
One can dream.
I already did.
I'll say this though, all that shit ends next year because starting in January, Microsoft has exclusives coming out pretty much every month, man. We got Scalebound, we got a whole bunch of games coming out in the first quarter of next year, throughout the whole year, so it's not like so much of a drought because in the past...
Well, you've actually got big games that people care about coming out this year for Xbox. That's where you don't have that on PlayStation.
And we have new innovations because these games... These games coming out are going to be HDR games too. Let's not forget that in the fall. So I know a lot of my pony friends are going to come over to my house and see it on my Xbox. I see it on my TV and say, "What the fuck is this? I want this shit." So.
No, D, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so, but the whole thing about the PlayStation hype this year on the E3 stage, it wasn't about God of War. It wasn't about all the games that aren't coming out for, you know, another.
Because we don't know when those are coming out.
It was all about the PlayStation VR experience. You had Sean. You had the guy on Sean basically show like freaking 20 minutes.
Let me dismiss that. The most watched E3 trailer of E3 period is God of War, even more than Battlefield, even more than your Xbox One S. That is the most watched trailer.
It wouldn't be more than Battlefield if Battlefield hadn't been revealed before E3, though.
All right. And one of the most controversial games talked about is Spider-Man. You got Xbox guys crying on why that game is not coming out on Xbox.
But do you know?
Look at Dead Rising.
You know why they have Spider-Man, though? Do you actually understand that?
Why?
Do you understand why Sony actually has Spider-Man?
Well, yeah, I know why they have.
And that's no different than Sony fans.
That's shit. They sold the movie rights to Marvel. Marvel gave them $2 million, and then they could keep the game. That's why they have the game.
We run shit. What else you expect? That's what bosses do. Bosses make.
But they only said yes after they offered them $2 million.
And the results is still the same. We got it. Y'all don't. I mean.
Okay. Who gets
that is a charity.
Maybe what's that? The CEO of Microsoft should have wrote a bigger check for Phil Spencer to do something.
Yeah, you know what? I give credit where credit's due. That is a great game. I can't wait to play it. But I have a question for you, Porter Rock, before we get the hell out of here. For these Xbox tear your fucking part. I'm trying to keep you healthy, bro. They're gonna tear your eyes out. Listen, so of course Gamescom, and Sony is attending Gamescom. I don't think they're having a press conference. How do you feel about them again not showing or revealing the Neo at Gamescom? About that?
I know at this point, looking at their strategy last year, they didn't need to do a press conference last year, and you saw how
they did
the results.
What happened last year? What was last year?
You know what I'm saying? Last year, the same thing. You know, I think most of the narrative everybody's using Sony again is a repeat of what you guys said last year. Oh, Sony's not a Gamescom, whatever. Sony's trying to do a different strategy with Paris game show.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What happened? What did they show last year? What was the hardware?
Hang on, are you damage controlling the Paris game show thing?
Oh, no, it's not about damage because the results.
Well, what is it? What are you controlling right now?
Sony's doing the same exact thing they did last year.
Okay.
Sony's strategy is, for whatever reason, they don't need to have a press conference at Gamescom.
No, bro. That's
Am
not
I
what I'm
lying?
asking. No, that's not what I'm
No,
asking.
you're not lying.
In Puerto Rock, that's not what I'm
It's
asking.
still funny.
What I'm asking you is, how do you feel about Sony not showing the PlayStation 4 Neo at Gamescom? That's what I was asking.
I kind of was ready that wasn't going to happen. Remember we talked about it, and I told you.
Yeah, no, I'm saying how you feel.
But
the whole reason why the Neo wasn't shown at E3, Andrew House said it was because they wanted to show the game experience. They didn't want to show something that people already knew about.
No, he didn't say that.
That's bullshit. I think they just don't want to cannibalize their.
Look at the interview. No, look at the interview, man. Look it up.
He did say that, but I think the real reason is they don't want to cannibalize their sales, right? Because once they
they just knew that all the wind was sucked right out of their sales.
Yeah. Once they announce the Neo, then that's the PS4 sales are going to slow right down.
I will say this.
Hold on, because gamers are still in denial. Like if you look in the forums, all these PS4, it's not coming out this year. It's not coming out till then. Yada yada yada. But if they announce it now, trust me, no PS4 is going to sell, buddy.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's pricing, but I mean, if they want people to buy their console, I guess take a page from Microsoft, but because I'm eating my own words here. I didn't think the Slim was sold well. It's sold out on Amazon. It's like number 2 or something at Best Buy pre-orders. Like the Xbox One S is really, really selling well. Like I really slept on that whole factor there. But I am from the mindset that you got to give people time to go out there and pre-order your goddamn console, get us hyped about. I know Sony's getting arrogant and say, you know what, hey, this is what we got. You're going to need 2 jobs to buy it, pull that bullshit again, and announce the motherfucking September, and it goes on sale in October. Like, I hope they're not going to try to do that. It's not going to work. And you're trying to do VR, and, I don't know. You think the Slim is coming out this year also, or you think the Slim is going to come out next year?
Well, I have a question for Porter Rock.
What's up?
If you have the vanilla PS4, you have the PS4 Neo, and you have the PS4 Slim, do you think that's stretching the market for the PlayStation fans?
No, the Slim is gonna. If you look at what Sony done in the past,
they
released the Slim. So let's say Sony announces the Slim. Let's say they do it at Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah.
And they price it at $299. Then the vanilla is gonna be $249 to clear stock. They don't keep both.
No.
Manufacture both.
So much money.
The announcement of the Slim means the vanilla's gone. They're gonna mark it down $50 cheaper to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do.
Flush it out.
So they just get rid of it, and now you'll only have the Slim and the Neo.
Yeah, and they're all the same lot.
My only question is, and I still say this, I don't think the Neo's going to come out this year. I still don't think. Mainly because of the VR, because you'll have 3 new hardware.
But they need the VR to sell it, bro.
No, they need...
They do. They need Puerto Rico.
The primary owners of the VR is going to be the 40 million.
I'm saying this is what I'm telling you, according to what I read. They're heavily invested in VR, right? And to really show off the VR and putting your best foot forward, you're going to need a device to really show what the VR can do. And sad to say, the vanilla PlayStation 4, it's not doing that. You're going to get games that look like PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 games. You see the games that they showed at E3, those looked like PlayStation 4 games with a VR helmet. They may not look as good as Vive or the Oculus Rift, but at least they look like the experience that you're already playing with your controller. Now, if they're not going to bring out the Neo this year, then I think on the day that maybe they're going to push back the actual goddamn headset, the VR also.
I don't think so, because the primary sellers are the 40 million current vanilla holders. Majority of the gamers are not going to buy both at the same time.
It doesn't work.
What do you mean it doesn't work?
This is going to happen. This is going to happen.
They're trying to sell a VR to a fan base.
This is going to happen, Puerto Rock. And we already heard several reports of people getting sick at E3 from using the goddamn on the vanilla. So you're going to put out the Neo. I'm sorry, you're not going to release the Neo this year. You're going to put out the VR to sell that to your 40 million users out there. And motherfuckers are going to get sick. It's going to get a bad fucking name. And people are not going to buy it.
Who else is going to buy it?
The people that have the more powerful. When they demo that thing in stores, they're not going to be demoing it on the vanilla.
Because the VR only has a date. So in other words, you're saying the Neo's going to come out in October? Because the VR has a date. It already has a launch date. People already pre-ordered it. People who pre-ordered it didn't pre-order it.
You're underestimating.
They own vanilla PS4s.
Puerto Rock, you're underestimating gamers, man. Gamers, when they see something, and you're underestimating gamers. When they see something with high graphic fidelity and it wows them, as a gamer, they're like, oh shit, I gotta get that, and they go get it, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's obvious that
gamers
the
are not
going to
spend
$800 the base system, right?
Why not? Why would a gamer not spend $800?
If they really want that experience,
hold on a second. As a gamer, you know what? Hold on a second. Let me say something. As a gamer, do you know how much we spend a year on games? You're buying one game at $60, $70. You're buying like 10 of those games, 11 of those games all throughout the year. Gamers have the money to do it.
Okay,
they have the money to do it.
That's spread across 365 days a year. You're talking to the guy who backed up a $600 PS3.
Gamers will get it. Gamers will get it. And you know what? To be honest with you, Sony's
If it was
good
the case, then why did Microsoft remove a Kinect to drop it down to $350?
Because the system was less powerful than the PS4. If the system was more powerful than the PS4, they could have got that premium price. But because the system was less powerful than the PS4 and nobody wanted to connect, they removed it.
I will say this, Puerto Rico. We probably can end the show with this. Sony doesn't have a need nor a reason to release the Neo next year because what they're using in the Neo, the specs are available now. They're not using Zen, you know what I mean? So the chipset, they're still using the same Jaguar CPU, overclocked a little harder. The chips and stuff that they're using for the quote-unquote PlayStation 4 Neo is available now. And again, they want to get a head start on the Scorpio, which is coming out next year, which is a much more capable goddamn console also. You know what I mean? So again, I can't. So that's just what I mean.
And to go. Well, I'm not talking about changing the specs. What I'm talking about is, let's say it's November, and you walk in Best Buy.
Okay.
You got the PlayStation Slim, $299. You got the Neo, $399, and now you also got a VR, $399. Okay. Gamers are not gonna go. Let me plop 400 on a majority. Are not gonna go. Let me plop 400 on a Neo. Let me plop another 400 on a VR, $800 right off the bat. That's not gonna happen.
I guarantee you, people will buy the Neo before they buy the VR.
The first month or two. But starting January 2017,
no.
That's just gonna go.
I gotta say this. Regardless of what you think, Puerto Rock, regardless of what you think, the fact is that AMD in their conference call said that they're going to be making one of these systems this year, and it's going to be coming out. Okay, and we know that the Scorpio is next year. We know that the NX is next year. So that only leaves the PS4, and they said this in a conference call to their investors. People that invested their money into the company.
Yeah, go check out D's video.
It's coming out. It's coming out this year. The developers already have the dev kits. They already have the specs. Eurogamer confirmed it, and also in the dev kits it says that all games must have a Neo mode by October. So if the system's not coming out this year, why would they mandate that all games must have a Neo mode by October?
And the chips that they're using are available this year.
I'm telling you, the reason they didn't show it to you at E3 is because Scorpio crushed it in terms of power. They're trying to figure out a way to spin the narrative now. It's common sense.
And that's
obviously,
the whole reason Andrew House went with the game narrative.
PS4, but you're not going to get the same visuals. It's not that complicated.
And he even conceded that it's not going to be as graphical. He said, when they asked him the question about the power difference,
he laughed around it with the narrative.
He goes, it's not the end all of be all. You know what I'm saying? That's what he said.
All right,
that's quote unquote.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't mean to jump the fuck out of Puerto Rock this show. I like to applaud him for coming on this goddamn podcast.
And we don't want none of them comments. Oh, it took 4 of you. No.
Great show. But look out for us tomorrow on the Multiplayer Podcast. Puerto Rock, you right?
Yeah, I'm good.
He said, man, these motherfuckers trying to euthanize me. But anyway, they just sent my man Puerto Rock to the Glue Factory, man. It's been real. Thank you for rocking out with the Xbox Beast Fire. Bacon, grease. Bacon.